Sometimes it's easy to think of ourselves as passive spectators to the events around us. We open our eyes and see an object, and we think to ourselves, "Hey, look at that object over there. It seems rather straightforward." Light enters our eyes through the pupils and hits the rods and cones, photoreceptor cells at the back of the eye. This information is then transmitted through the optic nerve to the brain. We live in a three-dimensional world, teeming with colors and shades, and objects interacting with space and each other. Illusions occur when our brains try to make sense of the world around us, using schemas and heuristics to streamline our processing of the world. Here you see little gray areas at the intersection of the white lines, but they vanish when you directly focus upon them. Our next illusion deals with perspective. Look at these ordinary kitchen tables. The pink one looks longer and skinnier, the blue one shorter and fatter. However, when you take them apart, you see they are in fact composed of identical parallelograms. We saw them as being so different because we are used to living in a three-dimensional world, where tables arranged like this would indeed be differently shaped. We also use background cues to help us with determining size in relation to perspective. Here's Jim, the pink bear, and Tim, the blue bear. Jim looks bigger than Tim. Jim and Tim are identical twin bears, being of the same size. However, the background, equipped with perspective lines, fools us into believing we are in a three-dimensional world where objects far away appear smaller. There are some people whose perception of the world is altered due to damage to the brain. Sometimes this damage is intentional, such as surgery done to help patients suffering from seizures, where the two hemispheres of their brain are separated, resulting in a split brain. This is done by cutting along the corpus callosum. When severed, it halts communication between the two hemispheres. It's as if the line between two phones has been disconnected. The two can continue talking, yet will not be heard by one another. You can see this effect when you observe how these split-brain individuals process visual information. Our environment consists of the right visual field and the left visual field. Strangely enough, the right visual field is processed in the left part of the brain, and the left visual field in the right part of our brain. You can take a split-brained individual and ask them to stare at a fixation point on a screen. You then show them two objects, one that appears in the right visual field, the other in the left. When asked to name what they saw, they will only name the object on the right, as this information is sent into the left brain, where speech is processed. However, when asked to draw what they saw with their left hand, they will draw the object they saw on the left, as this information is sent to the right brain, which controls motor functioning of the left hand. There are individuals who have had a stroke that damages the right parietal lobe, which results in a condition that renders them unable to see the left field of vision. Some patients, when asked to draw a clock, will only draw from 12 to 6. However, though they cannot consciously see the left side of their world, something odd seems to be happening in the brain with this missing information. Here is an experiment where a left spatial neglect patient is shown two pictures of a house. They are identical, except one is on fire, on the left side. The patient is asked, "What is the difference?"
There is no difference.
Then the patient is asked which house they would like to live in.
What do you mean? They're the same.
Just guess, please.
I guess the top one. I don't really know. I'm just picking at random.
However, Most of these random choices happen to be the house not on fire. It seems, perhaps, that our brains may sometimes know more than we are consciously aware of.